Good afternoon. I'm Allison Penna, aka Bad Widow. Something odd happens after a loss. It's like the whole world got turned upside down. It's like you're standing inside a snow globe and somebody shakes it up, some circumstance or some event or some transition shakes it up. And then you look around and the landscape is no longer the same. You're no longer the same. As I went through my life, I developed certain patterns of behavior. And some of them worked and some of them didn't work, like most of us, unless you're a pretty unusual human, we make mistakes. So I've made mistakes in my past. I've made relationship mistakes. I've made financial mistakes. I've made business mistakes. And most of us can at least say that we've done that too. So I can relate. When I lost Dave, it was like my whole landscape got shaken up. All that I knew that I was, all the behaviors that I had relied on that were really familiar to me, good or bad, I knew them. That's how I acted and that's what I did. And then everything was upside down. And I wasn't the same person anymore. And I didn't actually know who I was. So I began this process of figuring out who I was, what I liked, what I wanted, what I needed, what I desired in all areas of my life. And that provoked some different behaviors because the who I am now was no longer the who I was. And the behaviors which fit who I was, and there were some irresponsible behaviors, there were some reckless behaviors. So those behaviors that were who I was were no longer who I am. And so I began to change the behaviors and to be more congruent with who I am now. And it was complicated because there's entropy from the past. It's familiar. It's hard to change who you were to become a new person. And there are people around us who know us for a long time or who love us, and they know that person who we were, and they actually expect that person to stay pretty much the same, to not change a lot, except that the me that I am now had changed dramatically in who I was. And my behaviors had to change along with it. So what are the keys to making that stick? So there's this person you were and the person you are and the mistakes that were made, and then the who I am now, the behaviors that I have now. And honestly, if there are messes that were made in the past, it takes some time to clean them up. So there's an entropy about the past that needs to be dealt with. How do you do it? First step is clarity. Figure out what you want, need, and desire in this new who you are. Any transition, any change, any loss provokes this kind of effect. Like your whole world got shaken up and you look around and the landscape is entirely different. So the first step is clarity. The second is congruence. You have to figure out how to make your behavior now congruent with the you are now. And it's not easy. And it requires staying the course. And it requires staying the course no matter what you expect of yourself from old patterns of behavior, and no matter what others expect of you from old patterns of behavior. You have to trust in the who you are now. And then you have to act that way. And I will tell you it's not easy. And I will tell you that the past, sometimes there are messes from the past that need to get cleaned up. And I will tell you that it's possible. And it's a work in progress. And the capacity to do this is brilliant. It's a huge asset in going forward in life. So that's it for today. This is something I've been thinking about for a while and wanting to talk about for a while. I am Allison Penna, aka Bad Widow. So long. See you tomorrow.